Welcome back, language learners and grammar enthusiasts, to Word Power Wonders. Today, we're diving into a trio of words that can often trip up even the most seasoned English speakers do, does, and did. You know, those little words that pop up everywhere?
Oh, tell me about it, Adam. They are deceptively simple, aren't they? I remember when I was first learning, I'd constantly mix them up, like he doesn't likes it, or do she understand? It was a mess.
Yeah, it's like they're the Swiss Army knife of verbs. They do so much heavy lifting in English, acting as question makers, negative enforcers, and even emphasis bringers. Without them, our sentences would just fall flat, wouldn't they?
Absolutely, Peter. These are what we call auxiliary verbs or helping verbs, and they're fundamental to forming correct sentence structures in English, particularly for questions and negative statements in the simple present and simple past tenses. They literally help the main verb.
Exactly. So let's start with do and does in the present simple. This is where a lot of the initial confusion usually begins. Angelina, you mentioned do she understand earlier? What was the core issue there?
Right, the subject-verb agreement. I always forgot that does goes with he, she, and it, and do goes with I, you, we, and they. So it should be, does she understand? It's so basic now, but back then, my brain just short-circuited.
It's a classic, isn't it? My go-to trick for remembering is thinking does has that sound, just like he talks or she eats. That's ending often signals third-person singular in the present tense, whether it's the main verb or the auxiliary verb does.
That's a fantastic mnemonic, Peter, and it highlights a crucial point. When we use do, does, or did as auxiliary verbs, the main verb that follows them always reverts to its base form. Nos for does, node for did. This is a common error people make.
Can you give us some examples of that, Zara, so our listeners can really hear the difference?
Of course. So you wouldn't say, does he likes coffee? It's, does he like coffee? Thus is already in does, so the main verb like stays in its base form. Similarly, for negatives, it's she doesn't eat meat, not she doesn't eats meat.
Oh, that's what I was doing. He doesn't likes it. That makes so much sense now. It's like the does absorbs this from the main verb, almost like a little grammar sponge.
A grammar sponge. I love that, Angelina. So for do, it's pretty straightforward, right? Do you work here? They don't understand. Knows anywhere to worry about because the subjects you and they don't take the does in the present simple anyway.
Right. So, to recap for do and does in the present simple, do for I, you, we, they, and does for he, she, it. And the main verb always stays in its base form. Got it. Now, let's fast forward a bit to the past did. Peter, how does did play into all of this?
Did. The beautiful thing about did is that it's democratic. It works for all subjects in the simple past. You don't have to worry about he, she, its versus I, you, we, they. It's always did. This makes things a bit simpler, honestly.
Wait, really? So did he go and did they go? Both use did? That's a relief. No more mixing up past tense auxiliaries.
Precisely, Angelina. Did is the past simple auxiliary for every subject. But, and this is crucial, the same rule applies. The main verb reverts to its base form. This is perhaps where people make the most mistakes with did.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. The temptation to say did you went is so strong because went is the past form of go. But that's incorrect, isn't it?
Absolutely incorrect, Adam. It should be, did you go? Since did already carries the past tense information, the main verb go must be in its base form. It's redundant and grammatically incorrect to have two markers for past tense in one verb phrase.
Yeah, like saying I didn't eat dinner. No, no, no. It's I didn't eat dinner. The did already tells us it's past tense and negative. The eat gets to relax in its base form.
Okay, so the base form rule is super important across the board. If there's a do, does, or did in front of it, the main verb is always naked, no fancy endings. I like that visual.
Naked verbs. I think that's a brilliant way to remember it, Angelina. So, just to drill this home, let's do a quick round. Peter, give me a question using do or does and its negative counterpart.
Okay, let's see. Does he play guitar? And the negative, no, he doesn't play guitar. See, play stays the same.
Excellent. Zara, your turn with did.
All right. did they finish the project? And the negative, no, they didn't finish the project. Again, finish remains in its base form.
Perfect. Angelina, something with do?
How about, do you like pineapple on pizza? And my answer is, no, I don't like pineapple on pizza. Base form, like. Check.
Controversial topic, Angelina, but excellent grammar. So we've covered the basics of how these auxiliaries work for forming questions and negatives. But sometimes, do, does, and did aren't just helping verbs, are they? Sometimes they are the main verb.
That's a very important distinction, Adam. When do, does, or did act as the main verb, they mean to perform an action or to accomplish something. In these cases, they follow the usual conjugation rules for main verbs.
Right. So, I do my homework every night. Here, do is the main verb. Or, she does a great job at work. Does is the main verb there. And for past tense, he did his chores yesterday. Main verb did.
So if I wanted to ask a question about someone performing an action, I might say, do you do your laundry on Sundays? That's two does in one sentence, one auxiliary, one main verb.
That's a fantastic example, Angelina. It beautifully illustrates how they can coexist. The first do is the auxiliary forming the question, and the second do is the main verb meaning to perform. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but it's grammatically sound.
And the same logic applies to does and did when they are main verbs. For example, what does she do for a living? The first does is the auxiliary, and the second do is the main verb. Or, what did you do last weekend? Again, auxiliary did and main verb do.
It can sound a little repetitive to new speakers, but it's totally correct. Just remember the naked verb rule for the second do when it's the main verb and preceded by an auxiliary do, does, did.
That's super helpful. I think distinguishing between the auxiliary and main verb do, does, did is a huge hurdle for many. Knowing that distinction really clarifies why you sometimes see two does in a row.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about another interesting use: emphasis. Sometimes we use do, does, or did not to form a question or negative, but to add a strong emphasis to a statement. Zara, can you elaborate on this?
Certainly. This is a very common and natural way to make a statement stronger or to contradict someone. For instance, if someone says, "You don't like my cooking," you might respond, "I do like your cooking." Here, do is used for emphasis, making the like stronger.
It's like adding an exclamation mark to the verb. Like, he does care, even if he doesn't show it. Or, I did tell you, you just weren't listening.
Oh, I use that all the time without even thinking about it. I do understand now after a particularly confusing explanation. It just feels right.
It's a really native speaker touch, isn't it? It adds a layer of naturalness and conviction to your speech. And again, the main verb after the emphatic do, does, did stays in its base form. So she does know, not she does knows.
Precisely. The rules remain consistent. The auxiliary, whether it's for questions, negatives, or emphasis, dictates the base form of the main verb.
So, to sum up, we've got do and does for present simple questions and negatives, with does for he, she, it, and main verb in base form. Then did for past simple questions and negatives for all subjects and again main verb in base form. And finally, all three can be used for emphasis, also with a base form main verb.
And sometimes do, does, did can be the main verb itself, meaning to perform or to accomplish. That's a lot to keep track of, but hearing it broken down like this makes it so much clearer.
It really is a comprehensive overview. Now let's talk about some really common mistakes that we haven't explicitly covered yet. Zara, what's another big one you hear frequently?
A very common error is using do, does, did with verbs like to be or modal verbs such as can, will, should. For example, you wouldn't say, "Do you are happy?" or "Did he can swim?" These verbs form questions and negatives differently.
Oh, that's a good point. I remember struggling with is you happy versus are you happy when I was starting out. So, do and does are specifically for other verbs, not to be or modals?
Exactly. For to be, you just invert the subject and verb. Are you happy? Is she home? For negatives, you just add, not I am not happy, she is not home, no do or does needed.
And the same goes for modals like can, will, should. You don't say, do you can swim? You say, can you swim? And I won't go, not I don't, will go. It's a whole different grammatical beast.
Precisely. Think of do, does, did as specifically serving non-modal, non-to-be verbs in the simple present and simple past for questions and negatives. They have their own distinct domain.
That clears up a lot. It's like do, does, did are the specialized tools for a particular job, And you don't use a hammer when you need a screwdriver.
Good analogy, Angelina. So, what's a practical tip for our listeners to really get this cemented in their brains, beyond just remembering the rules?
That's a great question, Peter. I think active practice is key. Try creating 10 questions and 10 negative sentences in both the present and past simple, making sure to use a variety of subjects and different main verbs. And then read them out loud.
Reading them aloud is excellent advice, Adam. You'll start to hear what sounds natural and what doesn't, and try to catch yourself when you make a mistake. Self-correction is a powerful learning tool.
Also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how I learned. Every time I said, "Did you went," and someone corrected me, it stuck a little bit more. Embrace the learning process.
And listen critically to native speakers. Pay attention to how they form questions and negatives. Do they say, "Does he likes it?" or "Does he like it?" Your ear will eventually train itself to spot the correct patterns.
Absolutely. Immersion and active listening are invaluable. So, to wrap things up, mastering do, does, and did might seem daunting at first, but with these clear rules and consistent practice, you'll be using them naturally and correctly in no time. They are truly fundamental to sounding like a confident English speaker.
Indeed, they are the backbone of many everyday English conversations, and getting them right instantly elevates your fluency and clarity.
From "do you know" to "did you do it," these little words carry a lot of power. And now, thanks to our chat, I feel like I do know them a whole lot better.
You definitely do, Angelina, and I hope all our listeners out there feel the same way. Keep practicing, and you'll be a do, does, did master in no time.
That's a fantastic sentiment to end on. A huge thank you to Angelina, Peter, and Zara for making such a crucial, yet sometimes tricky, topic so engaging and easy to understand. We appreciate you tuning in to Word Power Wonders, and we'll catch you next time.